Is anyone interested in a human design reading with a business focus? And like, there were so many comments. There's so many comments. And I didn't even realize there were that many comments until I happened to go on Facebook and I saw that two people were having like a comment, like a conversation in the comments. And I looked and there was at least 20 different people on there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, abundance. Holy cow. There's so many people that want this." And I was immediately met with, yes, this is amazing. And oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Hello, and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, aka your business bestie. I teach female coaches, speakers, and course creators to release procrastination and perfection so that they can get more done, book more clients, and have the time freedom that all entrepreneurs crave. This is not your typical business coaching podcast. We're talking about business, life, probably some wooey magic, and probably some singing or referencing song lyrics along the way. So if you're into business building, making more money, and getting a little bit of a mindset shift along with having a good laugh, you're definitely in the right place. I've grown 3 businesses from $0 to consistent 4 and 5 figure months over the last 15 plus years. And now I'm helping you do the same thing. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen without the help of others. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I believe it takes a village to grow a business as well. So in this podcast, you'll find people who help you grow your village, cheer you on, as well as holding you accountable. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait for you to listen to each episode. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, your business bestie, and your Chaos to Clarity coach, and the creator of the Empower Her Business Blueprint. I am so excited to be back here today. So today I want to talk about, I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to talk about abundance and overwhelm in business and how to navigate them both, because they can both simultaneously exist in your business at the same time. How do I know this? Because right now, at this very moment, I am experiencing both abundance and overwhelm in my business. And I don't want you to think that this is a bad or good. I mean, I guess it's good. It can also be bad, right? Like overwhelm is typically a quote unquote bad thing. Abundance is typically quote unquote a good thing. But what happens when the two coexist? What happens when you ask for abundance, you get it, and then you're overwhelmed by it? And I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs experience. I think it's not talked about a ton, and I wanted to shine some light on it because I think it's an important aspect of business that sometimes we forget about, right? We start business and we think about, oh my gosh, how can I create more? How can I sell more? How can I make more money? How can I help more people? So we're constantly in this more, like abundant state. And then when the universe says, okay, you're asking for more, here it is, and opens the floodgates, now you're overwhelmed and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Oh my God, how do I show up for these people? How do I do this? How do I navigate this? So I want to take you back. I posted on Facebook. So when this episode airs, it will be like 2 weeks ago that I posted this on Facebook. So I recently posted on Facebook asking in a group if there was anyone who was interested in a human design reading, and a human design reading through the lens of like business development, right? Or how to utilize your human design, things from your human design in your business. So something that has been super profound and helpful for me has been really leaning into my human design. And this is something that I'm going to get into my human design in a different episode, and just like what that knowledge has done for me, and how that has really helped me to grow my business and just like show up in my business, and also utilize the CEO, employee, and goddess mindsets in my business. So I've been focusing on connecting with women who are entrepreneurs who want a human design reading that is focused on how they can really connect with and use their human design to amplify their business. So that is where some of this comes from. Now, I've been asking for abundance in my daily meditation ritual. I don't know what you want to call it. So every day I do a 10-minute meditation, and it is from one of my mentors who created it. It is, like I said, 10 minutes, really focuses on doing and having, like, creating one thing, and you're kind of putting that thing into your timeline, right? So I do this meditation every single day, and I had been doing it for a while, and I recently added in a few things to this meditation. So during this meditation, he takes you through, different things, and then asks you to, think of something that you want in business, which is great. And here is where this meditation gets really powerful for me, and where human design starts to play in, okay? So in this meditation, you get asked, like, what is the thing, what is a goal or business desire that you want? And in my human design, I know that my throat center is defined. And I thought one day, what if I spoke what I wanted out loud during this meditation? I wonder what would happen. So I'm also a manifesting generator, right? Like, so I do a lot of things. I've got a lot of things going on. Love to answer questions. Like, in my body, right? Like my sacral, like I literally have a gut response to things. And without getting too deep into this, right? I had that thought of, should I answer this question out loud? Yes or no? And my gut, my body had this, like this excited, like, yes answer. So I was like, okay, so today I'm going to try that. So I did. And nothing happened, right? The first day I did it, nothing happened. And I was like, it didn't work. Whatever. So I kept showing up every day to do this meditation. And then afterwards, I have these journal prompts that I write down. And, it's nothing crazy, right? Because I don't want a long, drawn out, like, journaling experience. But basically, my journaling is me asking the universe to give me what I need when I need it in order to achieve my best goals for the day. And then I always add, show me how good it can get in there. And then I started adding in, I trust myself. I trust the spirit, the universe, to place the right people in the right places at the right times so that all these things come true. And then I go through a number of, like, I am, I do, I feel, I love, I speak, I see, I understand statements. And then I write down what my goal is. And then at the end, I also write down, like, I am proud of my efforts. I'm grounded in my business, and I'm able to move forward without fear. So I gradually added all that stuff in, right? And then the tip of the iceberg, the cherry on top of the ice cream, so to speak, was me adding in the speaking, right? Speaking my desires, my business goals out loud. So I'm in my home all by myself doing this meditation, right? And I'm speaking these things out into the universe. Now I have a defined throat, something that I help women do is I help them learn to speak. I help them move through the chaos of speaking, whether that's in front of one person or many. I help them move through that. Why? Because I have a defined throat. Because, well, number one, even before human design, I've moved through that chaos and into that clarity, right? I used to be the kid in the back of the classroom who didn't want to get called on at all. I was terrified to read out loud. Why? I don't know. I don't have any speech impediments. I have no clue. It was just a very scary thing for me. And, without dwelling too much on the past, there's nothing that like pops up in my like, oh my gosh, this was the moment, right? So I don't dwell on that, but it has always been kind of a fear, public speaking. Now, as I grew into my business, at the time when this started to shift, I actually worked in corporate and I was doing corporate trainings with the customers of that business. So I had to learn to speak in front of a room of typically all dudes and show them and present to them the things that I had created, which cool, but also as a like 25-year-old in front of a room of 40-year-olds, that like intimidating, right? Okay, so I had to get over myself real fast and stand up there and just be rooted in what I was doing. How does this all tie in, right? Okay, so me learning to speak, learning to use my voice started in my corporate career and photography career. It really took off when I started teaching yoga, when I started being able to be in front of a room and really articulate and move people through these poses in a way that they like really felt safe and held and able to show up confidently and fully in themselves. All right, so now fast forward to my teacher training days. Now I was helping women do the same thing who went through my yoga teacher training. So now in my coaching career, right, me being able to help women define their offer, being able to help them find their voice, being able to help them show up as themselves, I thought to myself, well, why can't I do that too, right? And I do that, but how can I do that a little bit more? And sometimes it's these little like micro changes that you make in your routines and your things that you're doing that really have the most profound like aspects and really the most profound like just, So I started speaking what I wanted in this meditation. And then I would write it down. And there's also a portion of this meditation that asks, what would you say to yourself? What will you say to yourself when these things happen? What do you say to yourself? And for me, I love to hear, like, for me, someone telling me that they are proud of me is one of the highest compliments for me that I can get, I can give to myself, I can get from other people. So that is something that in my meditation and then in the journaling afterwards, I wrote the last line of like, I am proud of myself. And within a few days of speaking this stuff out loud, I started, one of my friends who I was on a coffee chat with said, I'm so proud of you. And that, it kind of just caught me off guard. And I was like, oh my gosh, thanks, right? Like, thank you so much. I received this. I love this. Like, feels like a big warm hug. That's so awesome, right? And I got off the call and I went on with my day. And the next day, I reconnected with someone who I had connected with about 6 or 8 months ago. And she told me, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, had to like ground myself because I'm like, what is happening? This meditation is working. People are starting to tell me they're proud of me. And like, I know I am proud of me, but like, wow, okay, other people are saying it. This is amazing. All right. And then, right, so I'm asking for abundance. I'm asking for, I'm proud of me. People are proud of me. And then it gets to where I post on Facebook in a couple of groups, in 2 different groups, and on my wall, Like, is anyone interested in a human design reading with a business focus? And like, there were so many comments. There's so many comments. And I didn't even realize there were that many comments until I happened to go on Facebook and I saw that two people were having like a comment, like a conversation in the comments. And I looked and there was at least 20 different people on there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, abundance. Holy cow. There's so many people that want this." And I was immediately met with, yes, this is amazing. And oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. So how does the human design aspect play into this? Now, if you are fairly new to human design, it is similar to astrology, but it brings in a bunch of other things. So it's based off your birth time, your birth date, and your birthplace. And then it gives you some information about like what kind of design you are. There's a whole bunch of, it could literally take me the rest of my life to learn, right? But I know what I know and I'm excited to share. So part of my human design is that I'm a manifesting generator. So for me, being able to respond and inform people is part of the things that really, really light me up, right? So I have to wait to respond, but I also need to inform and I need to double check with myself before I take that action, right? So for me, when I posted that, I was like, ooh, yay, yes. I want to ask if people are interested in this. And I immediately had the thought of like, who is going to be interested in this? I'm sure everyone in this group probably already knows. Which I have an open head in Ajna, which means not all my thoughts are always my own, right? Like I sample other people's thoughts. Some of them are gifted. Some of them are borrowed, right? And I have my own thoughts, but on a grand scale, right? If I'm listening to too much true crime, I can tell I have a more negative, like, thought process, right? Whereas if I'm listening to more personal development or more like business things, I'm typically thinking more about that, and it ebbs and flows, okay? So I had this thought, how can I, integrate human design more? And could that be a gateway for more people to have the opportunity to work with me? Because in business, when you're an entrepreneur, you are always looking for ways for more people to work with you, right? More avenues, because now you're creating more streams of abundance to flow in. So I got all these requests, I answered them, and immediately was met with the overwhelm of, oh shit, this just happened. Now what do I do? So in that moment of, oh shit, I had to really check to see, is this a gut reaction? Because if it's a gut reaction and my body is giving me this like, then I know I probably got prematurely excited about it and kind of jumped the gun. But if it's more of a thought, right? One of those reoccurring thoughts, one of those limiting beliefs of, like, you're not enough. Why would you do this? Blah, 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 blah. Those thoughts that we think go away. But I mean, they really never do, right? Recurring thoughts are recurring for a reason. Limiting beliefs are limiting for a reason, right? They're always going to be there. It basically just is, it comes back to like, how loud are you allowing this to be for you? And if you're allowing it to be loud, right, to be in your face, if you're allowing it to be like too much, then it will be too much, right? It will be overwhelming. It will be crazy. It will be chaos. So getting back to like how much stuff I have happening. To some people, yeah, it's overwhelming and it's crazy, and they cannot even imagine why in the world I would want to be doing all this stuff. But to me, I've found the clarity in it, and I love doing everything that I do. I love being able to teach a couple yoga classes a week. I love being able to take photos, right? Especially in the summer by the lake here in Wisconsin, by Lake Michigan. Like, I love that. That is a creative outlet for me. And I love that my photo business is referral based only, right? That it's like you have to know me or have someone that knows me in order to connect with me there. And in this coaching business, right? Like, I love how many people I get to meet. I love where they all come from, right? I love everything that I get to learn about them. And again, that is also part of my human design of, I love to learn and I love to network. So when I felt that overwhelm of, oh my God, I have all these charts to read now, it was very quickly followed by like excitement in my gut, like butterflies of, yes, we have charts to read. You get to connect with people. You're going to be able to talk to people. You have 25 people that you get to show up and serve. And I am one that I know when you put things out there into the universe, right, it comes back tenfold, right? So me being able to provide for these people, even if it's just a short, like 5 to 10 minute video or voice note of, hey, I looked at your chart. Here are some things I see. Here are some things that are called out to me. These are some good things to focus on if you're X, Y, or Z, right? Being able to do that allows me to not only, number one, hone in on a new craft of being able to read charts, but number two, it allows me to connect further with that person. So from a business standpoint, I'm now turning a cool lead to a warm/hot lead. And here is something that, human design aside, if you are struggling to connect with people, I would ask you, where are you currently connecting with people? Are you using Instagram? Are you using Facebook? Are you using LinkedIn? Are you using TikTok? And wherever you are, right, focus on one for right now, especially if you're having trouble, right? If you're having trouble figuring out what it is and how to connect and so on and so forth, pick one. It doesn't matter which one. And focus on that. And for me, even though, yes, it felt very I felt very boxed in when I was like, oh, I guess I'll choose Facebook. And for me, I chose Facebook because there's the opportunity to be in groups there. And the opportunity to be in groups was much less overwhelming than thinking about going and searching on Instagram for my ideal client. Why? I am not sure, but that's what I chose. And if that's reversed for you, that's so cool, right? Like, I love that. And please teach me how. I know it's not hard, but I also know that when you put your focus on one space, that allows you to really open up opportunities that you didn't think were there before. And it allows you to get into spaces where you maybe didn't see an opportunity to dive in a little bit deeper. So when you are doing things like what I did, right? If you take the Facebook post that I posted, and I've had posts go viral in groups before. So I've witnessed and experienced this overwhelm and abundance at the same time a number of different times. Now, when this happens, here's my number one hot tip on if you're experiencing abundance and overwhelm, or whether they're together or separate. Here are a few things you can do. Okay. So number one, thank the universe, right? Thank God, universe, spirit, yourself, right? But make sure you are celebrating that win, right? And celebrating the small wins allows the bigger wins to just feel so much sweeter and feel so much like more. So celebrate those wins and then take action, right? Like the abundance was there and the overwhelm came in and I thought, do I really want to do this? And I allowed myself to have the opportunity to say no. Because if it didn't check, if it didn't align, then I could simply say no. I could simply not answer those people. However, it did align, right? Like it's something I'm very interested in. Human design is fascinating to me. I love meeting people. I love learning. So this for me felt amazing to say yes to doing this. So thinking about it from that perspective, I allowed myself to indulge in the proud. I allowed myself to indulge in the abundance, right? Instead of indulging in the overwhelm, which I think is where a lot of people get stuck, is they indulge in the overwhelm without really realizing that they're doing it, okay? So take my schedule, for instance, right? There's a lot of things on it. If someone who is not necessarily close to me looks at my schedule, they're going to go, oh my God, how do you have time for anything? How do you get anything done? But to me, I can look at my schedule and I see, oh yeah, I have free time here, here, and here. And I have time to do this, this, and this. And here it is all scheduled in. And at the end of the day, I feel very productive. And I feel very complete. I feel very much in line with what I'm doing. So I like to indulge in the abundance, right? Because indulging in the abundance then allows you to lean into that more positive side. Whereas indulging in the overwhelm, you're constantly freaking out about, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get anything done. Who's going to vacuum? Who's going to cook? Who's going to do this? I haven't slept in 3 nights because I'm nervous. I haven't booked any clients. I haven't da-da-da-da-da. Whereas for me with this, right, the opportunity to connect with 25 new people, holy crap, right? Like, holy crap, for me, that's 25 new potential leads in my CRM, right? In my inbox. 25 new people for me to connect with. Now, will all 25 answer me back? No, probably not. And that's okay, right? Will all 25 want to get on a Zoom call with me? No, probably not. And that's okay. But here's where the magic really starts to come in when you're dealing with abundance and overwhelm. If you start leaning into the abundance, right? Leaning into that what if, what could happen? How good can it get? Okay, so if you're thinking about from a sales and booking perspective, if you take industry standard of about 20% of the people you talk to will book. So if you are talking to 5 people, 1 is likely to book with you. Okay, so now I've got 25 people. Taking that 20%, that's 5 potential customers. Right now at my current prices, that could be $20,000 that I could bring in. So from a sales perspective, looking at it from that way, right? Especially when you're dealing with abundance and overwhelm. Because they're like reoccurring thoughts, right? They're reoccurring themes that happen. Of overwhelm can be considered a limiting belief. I'm constantly overwhelmed. That's a limiting belief. I'm constantly abundant. That feels so much more open and easy and like flowing. So when you're thinking about it from that way, will I want to take all 25 of those people? No, I'm overwhelmed thinking about that. But knowing that all 25 will not book, I mean, what a great problem to have. But statistically speaking, even if 50% of those 25 people were to book something with me, whether that is a 1-month container or 3-month or 6-month or 12-month, whatever that is, right? If 50% would book, that is 12 to 13 people. Do I have space and time for that in my calendar? Yes, absolutely. I have space and time for that. So if you are struggling with overwhelm, if you are struggling trying to get out of those recurring themes of like overwhelm and oh, I'm so busy and oh, I'm blah, 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 how can you start to shift the way you're speaking? Because oftentimes if you can shift the way you're speaking, especially to yourself, that starts to shift a lot of the internal narrative. It starts to shift your internal thoughts and just starts to move you out of the chaos of overwhelm, of lack, and into the mindset of abundance and open and opportunity and growth. So start within, right? If you're feeling overwhelmed, write down what you're feeling overwhelmed about. And then if that overwhelm is overwhelming, then I would invite you to see how you can shift those thoughts. Shift those thoughts from, I have so much work to do to I get to do X, Y, Z. Or if you have, 15 things that you're trying to work on, choose one. And then when you get one thing done, cross that baby off the list and have a dang dance party, because that celebration will cement in your mind and create a new groove in your brain of, I can accomplish something. I accomplished this thing. What else can I accomplish? So it starts to shift the overwhelm back to abundance. It starts to shift out of the chaos and into the clarity, right? So I hope this helps. And I would absolutely love to know your thoughts, your takes, things that you are feeling overwhelmed about, things that you're feeling abundant about. And like I've said in other episodes, please, 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 I absolutely love to connect with you on Instagram. It has been so much fun to have conversations with you in my DMs and talk about what your biggest takeaways are or have been from some of my episodes, from some of the interviews that I've done, from all the things that are going on. I love talking to you guys. So if you like this episode, even if you didn't like this episode and you're still listening, you probably kind of liked it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. If you like this episode, I would absolutely love it if you either connected with me on Instagram or shared this with your friends, family, or out to your socials, left me a review, any of that stuff. I love, 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 love hearing from you guys. So I hope you found this to be helpful, and I cannot wait to connect with you. And as always, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you all again soon.